Anglers Bill's Court of Florida Bass Paddler. In this episode, we're going to be doing a re-review of the Old Town Discovery 119 Solo Sportsman. Stay tuned.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So when Old Town released their Sportsman series, wow, what a lineup of boats. You have the Autopilot series. You have the Old Town Sportsman 120 PDL, the 106 PDL, the Big Water, the 132 PDL. Great boats. What about the Discovery 119 Solo Sportsman? That's a boat that I think can catch fish just as well as any of those others. Maybe not in the same waters, but it's often overlooked because of its simplicity. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but I think this is a fantastic platform for not just fishing, but even for duck hunters. Now, I'm not a duck hunter, but I'll go over some of the key features as to why this would pertain to duck hunters. But I want to talk about what I like about this boat and also answer some of the questions I received from previous videos. I've had this boat for just under 10 months, so I thought it'd be a great time to do a re-review on what I like, what I wish were a little bit different, and some of the key features that make this such a great boat to fish from. As I said in one of my initial reviews of this boat, I really like the speed of this boat. 11 feet 9 inches long, approximately 56 pounds, 32.5 inches wide in the beam. It's just a really nice boat. It's got great speed, tracks great for a boat that doesn't have a rudder, and is relatively stable. Now this is obviously more of a hybrid. It's built like a canoe, portable like a kayak, but really I'm leaning more towards the canoe side. Ample space, which we'll go over in a minute. Again, just turning on this boat on a dime. Absolutely love it. One of the first questions that came up about this boat when I got it, and I had these questions from friends, I had a couple online, a couple messages, was, can you stand in it? This does not have a pontoon style bottom like a kayak, and we'll show you the bottom in a moment. But I will go ahead and stand in it, and I'll give you my impressions of it based on my personal experience with it. So hopefully you can see this. I am standing in the boat. It is a little side to side. Again, it has more of a traditional canoe bottom than it has where kayaks may have a pontoon style bottom, which will really keep them nice and stable. And you can probably even see the camera mount going back and forth. That's my sea legs, which aren't the best, but they're not the worst either. But you can stand in this, you can fish in it if you're comfortable with sea legs. The one thing I will point out is, again, because this is more of a canoe, be careful you don't have that raised seat behind you like you would in a traditional kayak, like a PDL model, if you will. You have a low seat that's almost relatively on the bottom of the boat, so you want to exercise caution getting back down. So I'll put my arms on the outside here. Oop, let me see if I can fix this so you can see me. I'm going to put my arms on the sides, sit back down. So there. Stable. I'm personally wouldn't fish too much in a standing position because, again, I don't have the greatest sea legs. And again, if you do get that big fish, you want to be careful getting back down. You want to make sure your weight's dispersed evenly in the boat, but it's not tippy by any means. It's just obviously doesn't have the same stability as, say, a topwater or a Predator, both of which I have experience with. This is more of a canoe in the hybrid style than it is a kayak style, and again, it has that nice smooth bottom, which we'll go over, but hopefully that answers everyone's questions about standing in it. Alright, so I want to give you a quick glance at the bottom here. Not too bad actually for a kayak that's almost 10 months old, and I've had her in some rough stuff, but nice smooth bottom, just like a canoe. Again, this is part of the reason why it's a little bit side to side when you're standing in it, but this definitely has its advantages. And what I mean by that is, the reason I chose this boat was really to get into the areas that my PDL may not be able to get into. They often say that a kayak is made to go where a boat can't. This canoe, hybrid, kayak, whatever you want to call it, can actually get into even more spots that a kayak can't get into. And what I mean by that is spots that have really thick vegetation that may foul up in your rudder or your pedals or fins, whatever the case may be. High weed lines that your kayak's just trying to get into because of all the different accessories hanging off. You're going to get hung up in there. So here's some footage of the exact reason I chose the Discovery 119 Solo Sportsman. I'm not a hunter, but I can definitely tell you, I can see why this boat would appeal to hunters, because here I am in places where there's really thick cover, lots of birds around. Obviously, I know you don't just go out and shoot birds when you're a hunter, but you know, you're low to the ground, you know, lots of cover for the birds and lots of cover for you as a hunter. So it's a very, very stealthy boat. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you how I have it rigged up. I haven't changed anything in a long time, so I got the boat set just the way I want it. So again, I have a video on my YouTube channel right now how I have it rigged. I've tweaked a couple things, haven't changed much since, so let's go over that one more time. Starting at the front of the boat, attached to my front carry handle by its two Velcro straps is my Yak Gadget sack. I keep some personal items in there, extra leader, but I also keep a sponge. This is a canoe. There are no scuppers, and no, you cannot add them. So if you get water in your boat a little bit, you can just use a sponge to soak it up out of the boat and squeeze it out over the side. I have not had to use that, but water does get in here. It even seeps in through my pants getting wet getting into it. So again, it's just a precaution to have. We come over to the front work bar. I have two Yak Attack lock and load bases, one of which I use for my panfish by Yak Attack, the other for my Zuka tube. I use this for holding my rods out of the way when I'm unhooking an unruly fish like a snakehead or a very aggressive peacock. There are two standard rod holders on each side of the seat. However, this helps keep the rod away from me, and I can throw the lure out back into the water where it's out of harm's way. I have a Yak Gadget cup holder XD with the two attachment points for my beverages. Go in the middle. I have here this attachment point where I keep my pliers. And then I have this other attachment point here for my Rogue Fishing Defender rod and paddle leash, where I cap my paddle here on the side. Again, this way it's protected in case it does come off the side. Each side of my seat, I I have two 14 by 6-inch tackle webs that are on the boat by hook and loop. This one I strictly use for keeping my fish gripper in case I have a fish I can't lip. On this side I just keep my cell phone in this one. I have my Rogue Fishing Company Protector 3.0 phone tether. This way again, if I do drop my phone, it's protected and held on to the boat by attaching the carabiner here to the strap that raises and lowers the seat back. Again, each side of the seat here, here's a rod holder here, but again I use the one up front. This is made to hold 2 shotgun shells, or you could put tools here as well. I do find if you put tools here like pliers, they will get in the way of your paddle stroke. These little containers here, great for putting loose hooks, split shots, weights, used up bait, whatever you want to put there. We have 2 foam armrests here. That's great for your forearms if you just want to sit back and chill. The seat is relatively comfortable. However, if you're going to be out for a long time, it doesn't hurt to have any type of cushion on your seat. I prefer the kayak cushion. This is the one I use for my Predator PDL. Quick on and off of the seat. This way I can put it in my canoe as well. We're going to come to the back thwart here. Comes standard with 2 flush mount rod holders. There is no track underneath this. It's just a wooden thwart. You can add one if you like. Just be careful drilling into the wood. You don't want to go too close to the edge or you crack it. Kind of wish there was a stock one that's embedded into it. That's kind of cool how they did in the front, but not a huge deal. Again, I like to keep it simple. Again, I have a bilge pump here. Not have had to use it, but God forbid you get caught in a rainstorm that you didn't see coming, or maybe didn't check the weather, which always check the weather before going out in a canoe. Have it here just in case. It's just on there with 2 Velcro straps. Never had to use it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. As we come around to this side here, as you can see, I use one of the flush mounts for my net. Keeps it within easy reach. And in the back, I used to use a standard milk crate with 3 rods on the back of it. This is the Yak Attack Black Pack made for new canoes, and that's going to be a whole nother video another time. But I went with the new canoe version because it's smaller, it's not as long, it's not as high, holds just what I need for a day out on the water in my canoe. As you see, I just keep a little bit of tackle in there. Still have my 3 rods with me. Again, you can use this in other kayaks that has these attachment points here for track systems, but overall I just put it in the back. It just fits nicely, and not having the open crate helps to protect it somewhat from the elements. So, and then I have a little bungee here just to keep my seat back up. I have it attached here to this tie down attachment point from Yak Attack. So again, the idea behind this boat was simplicity. That's how I have it rigged up, and I still get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Another question I get asked a lot is car topping. As you can see, I don't have to car top mine. It's very easy to put on top of a car due to its lightweight, but I would be very cautious in the over tightening of the straps. I would recommend that you join a owners group on Facebook to ask questions for those who do car top. But again, because it's canoe bottom, if you over tighten those straps around the midsection, you may form the kayak if you're in a warm weather environment. So definitely use a bow and stern tie down when car topping this boat. I would definitely go snug on the 2 straps in the center area of the boat. But again, exercise caution. You want to be safe, but you don't want to damage your boat. And again, I would reach out to someone who maybe already be car topping it on a owner's page that can maybe better answer that, but that's a question I get a lot. But again, lightweight boat, easy to throw in the bed of the truck, easy to throw on top of a car. You just want to be careful with those straps. Snakehead. So perfect segue, keeping in mind with the lighter boat, you could see how we got pulled into the trees here. So if you're an inshore person or someone who's going after intercoastal species, just something to keep in mind. There's no pedals to pull back you out. You start heading towards the shore, you're going in. So just a little something to keep in mind. So let's go over the pros and cons of this boat. Pros: it's extremely light, 56 pounds, 11 feet 9 inches long, 32 inches wide. It's a stable platform that's easy to transport. Ample room to fit lots of gear, whether you're an angler with a crate, cooler, tackle bags, water gear, etc., or you're a hunter who has bags of decoys, ammo bags, duffels, a dog, whatever. There's ample room in this boat for people. Simplicity. You can fish it right from the factory. It has 2 flush mount rod holders. It has a cup holder built onto the seat. You really don't need anything if you're looking for simplicity. Other than a place to store your paddle, this boat's ready to go. The design of the bottom. You can really track through some pretty thick stuff where other kayaks may struggle. So there's a lot of pros to this boat. What about the cons? The word con is it's a figure of speech. I don't believe there's any cons to this boat, but there are things to take, notice of. Number one, this is a hybrid, more on the canoe side. You need to know the weather you're going to be fishing in. There's no scuppers in this vehicle. It will fill up with water. So you want to make sure you take the precautions just in case you get caught in a storm that maybe was unforeseen. Its weight. That can also be a detriment with regard to if you get stuck in high winds. This boat will move rather easily in a stiff breeze. So that's something to keep in mind. Now again, that's not a con, but these are things to take into consideration because there's not one boat that can do everything as far as I'm concerned. That's just a matter of my own opinion. And again, those aren't cons. Those are strictly just things you want to take note of. And again, standing. You may have better sea legs than me and think this is a great boat to stand in. Personally, I don't feel 100% comfortable standing in it, so therefore I choose to sit, but that's okay. Again, I wanted this boat for simplicity. I wanted something I can grab, go fishing in a smaller body of water, take a few rods, and just not have to worry about hooking up the fish finder and hooking up the pedals and all these other things, and just go and have a good time. I hope you found this video informative. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them for you. If you like what you see, I ask you to please smash that thumbs up button and subscribe for future content. Once again, my name is Bill Sikora. I'm a Florida Bass Paddler. Thanks for watching. Be safe on the water. Tight lines, everybody.